morning. Another gorgeous day to be outside. I mean, come on. I'm loving Mother Nature here. Welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. As you can see, I'm your host, Monica Adams. It is Wednesday, May 14th. It's a Wellness Wednesday, just getting started at 7:01 in the morning. And I'd love to know how your day is starting. Can we get you on a different foot? Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Can we give you a little positivity? The answers are yes, we can. And today, you know what? I wanted to just tear all the filters off and take all the masks off. I'm coming to you with no makeup on and stripped down and just being absolutely authentic and real. And I want to know how many of you can do that. Okay, so the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to stop beating yourself up in life. And I want you to understand in all my life coaching over the last 2 decades that the one common theme I've always seen is that someone's chasing what others are doing. Now, before I continue with that, I wish I could turn the camera for you. I have an audience right now. I just looked down my driveway and there is a deer that stopped in the middle of the driveway and is just looking right at me like, hey, preach. Hi, baby. If only I had another camera person here, I would turn and show you this right now. I can't turn the camera around, unfortunately. Bye. Oh my gosh, how cute. There's like 5 of them. I've got a live audience. Too bad I don't have mics on them. Okay, this is a fun start to our day. I hope you're having a great one. We're going to, of course, give you some news you can use. We'll just sprinkle it in throughout the hour. But then I want to go deeply into how we get to this, right? So there's a process. There's a whole aspect of what happens in your mind of how you continue to beat yourself up in life. And so chasing the whole idea of perfectionism. And you just can't give yourself some grace. And that's what I've seen. That is the overall theme from every single person that I've ever been blessed to have as a client, whether it's personal training, whether it's life coaching, it doesn't matter, whether it's someone that's been at a speaking engagement that I've been at and have done motivational speaking. I always get those questions. And then I get the tears, right? The rawness, just ripping it all off and feeling so free when that happens. So today, yes, there are days where I'm all dialed up or I'm going out to MC an event, I'm all in a gown. And there's days that I'm right here at my house helping my husband with the yard or whatever. Be every level of yourself and be okay showing all those levels. In fact, on social media, do me a favor and strip it down and be real and show who you really are. But then also show the potential. You know, we were just having this conversation about a week or so ago, for women especially, how they always want to show all dialed up or they want to put filter after filter. I don't put filters on my pictures. I'm real. And yesterday we talked about being kinder and doing better as a community. Today, I'm saying the more real you are, the more the younger generation, the young girls will see, oh, okay, so we can do that. Yes, you don't look like that in the movies when you're walking around in real life. You don't look like the cover of a magazine because magazine editors filter the heck out of every picture that's out there. And what does that do to the psyche of young women? It's been going on for decades. I don't care. You can go back to my mom's time period and she'd say, oh, well, we want to look like that. And the waists that are 23 inches, they were cinched in by crazy corsets. I don't care what decade you're in or what year, what moment of life you're in. It's all about the fakeness that has always existed. And again, I'm hoping that we are on a new path of being more real and how much that's going to help. You know, we always go back into the mental health aspect, how much that is going to help the mental health. By the way, good morning to all of you. Let's go ahead and get started. For those of you in our immediate area, always want to thank our St. Louis, Missouri, our Illinois area. If you're outside of that, and I know I'm starting to reach people in other states, hey, let us know where you are. And feel free to say, hey, this is what the weather is in our area. I know the weather canceled the Cardinals game, so they've got a doubleheader on tap. So we'll talk about that in just a second. But here you go. Speaking of rain, there is the chance of that over the next several days until we get into the weekend. Just a very slight chance. 15% chance of a shower. 86, and we've got St. Louis City SC on tap tonight. Again, also, they're on the road, but a Cardinals doubleheader. Tomorrow, we've got afternoon storms and more so to the south and east. 92, though, that's the day we've been talking about. We could hit a record. The record's 94, but 92 is projected right now. Very hot day on tap. And then on Friday, we do have a 50% chance of afternoon storms, 88. Now, Saturday, when we go and do our Mobile Monica from Weingarten Vineyards, and shout out to Joe and all the staff at Weingarten. We were there for a few hours yesterday getting ready for our big show on Saturday. Can't wait to see you all. I hope you're coming out with your family and friends. It's going to be absolutely beautiful to be at a winery. degree, 82 degrees. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, back into some chances of some showers. We'll check in with Beckett on Friday when he joins us. But look at that. I like to see that we're going back into the 70s once we get into next week, because again, this 92 on Thursday, that's not okay with me. I'm not ready for summer just yet. I want to have a little more spring. You know, we're seeing all the gorgeous blooms of spring flowers, and then all of a sudden it felt like we were jumping into summer right away. So you tell me, what kind of weather do you like? Do you like spring? Do you want to get into summer already? Are you ready for hot, humid days? That's the beauty of life, that we're all so very different. Don't you love all the noises, by the way? The rooster's crowing. We got dogs barking. I got deer crossing the driveway. It's a good start here. Good morning, Sean. Julie, good morning to you. Another Julie, good morning. Jenny, good morning to you. No makeup every day, Julie says, but do you leave the house? That's my question. Do you leave the house? Do you see other people without makeup on? That's the difference, not just staying in your house. Good morning, Kathleen. And again, let's bounce over to all of the platforms. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to drop them in. Yeah, that rooster, right, Jenny? Oh, that rooster doesn't know what time it is, whether it's morning or night. It's always crowing. All right, let's get into some news you can use. So for your kiddos, they probably love having their cell phones in class. However, there is a bill to ban them in public schools, and it's now heading to Governor Kehoe's desk. The state legislature passed that bill Tuesday, which would ban the cell phones during breaks, in the classroom, and at lunch. That one surprised me. It would also allow school districts to create their own cell phone policy. The bill would require schools as well to have comprehensive emergency operation plans, and if state funding's approved, anti-intruder door locks, in addition to putting measures in place to remove lead from drinking water in schools. If Governor Mike Kehoe signs a bill, it would go into effect not for the rest of 2025, but for the 2026-2027 school year. And so, as we always do these stories, I like to come out of them and say, what are your thoughts on that? You all did a great job yesterday, by the way, with a lot of interaction. And that's what I love this show to be. There's the rooster again. What are your thoughts on that? Okay, so if you're a parent, if you're a grandparent, if you're an aunt, uncle, you send the kids off to school, do you want them to be able to have cell phones? I will tell you, I thought it was the craziest thing when cell phones were first allowed, because it just didn't make sense to me. I understand it for a safety aspect, and I do think they've got to turn it off. Is that correct? Do they have to silent it? You let me know, because I'm not a parent, but I'd love to know, what are the policies currently in place with cell phones if you are sending your kids off to school? Again, safety reasons, I understand, because it has gotten crazy. The world has gotten crazy. I get that. But are they able to use them? I mean, that's what all was very strange to me, because, you know, we think about the aspect of cheating, of what people used to do, or looking over at someone's desk. But for this, it was, are they able to use those? Because if so, it doesn't make any sense to me. None of that makes any sense. So please weigh in on that one. And then, just as I wipe my eye as my eye is watering, eye drops sold nationwide are being recalled for potential health hazards. So get this, there are several products that are used to treat dry and irritated eyes being voluntarily recalled. According to AvCare, it's a pharmaceutical manufacturer, they've issued the recall. The alert involves BRS Analytical Services and products sold across the country. Officials said the recall is over manufacturing concerns, and they cannot rule out patient risks from using these products. They urge you to stop using the recalled eye care products immediately. The FDA is listing the products, and there are multiple ones: artificial tears, as well as a few others. So here's what I'm going to do. The items were shipped from May 26, 2023 until April 21st. Now, they're asking consumers to fill out a recall form, and they will issue a full credit, including shipping costs, for any returns. So what I'm going to do is give this link to Jenny. If you use eye drops, you want to look at this list and see if the ones that you use might be on the list. There are way too many to list in me talking to you, and I'm going to tell you right now, I am not going to try to even say the name of some of them, because I will butcher their names. So instead, she'll drop them in comments. Please always look at what she's doing, by the way, because she works her little fingers off, and that is also that you don't have to seek this out. She does an amazing job. Let's give her a shout out, by the way. Don't we all love Jenny? She does an incredible job for you, giving you all the information that you need as I start to talk about it. You know, we were just talking about Governor Kehoe, but do you remember this man? Our former Missouri governor has passed away. away at the age of 86. Do you remember Kit Bond? Former U.S. Senator, Missouri Governor Christopher S. Kit Bond. Current Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe said he died in St. Louis on Tuesday. And in a statement, Kehoe wrote, quote, Kit Bond was a skilled statesman, public servant, and a man who truly loved Missouri. I'm blessed to have known Kit and honored to call him a friend and a mentor. So on Thursday, May 22nd, a celebration of Bond's life will take place at the Ladue Chapel Presbyterian Church at 1 p.m. Kehoe has ordered the U.S. and the Missouri flags to be flown at half staff at government buildings and grounds statewide until Bond is laid to rest. You know, I've been in the news business for a long time, so knew him actually very well. In other news, if you're just tuning in, again, running through some news you can use. All right, this is going to affect a lot of people. Apple products. If you have Apple devices, you may be eligible for part of a $95 million class action lawsuit. It says if you've owned an Apple device since 2014, you may be eligible. It's part of a $95 million class action settlement. The lawsuit is accusing the tech company's voice assistant Siri of spying on users. We've all talked about this, right? And we've all believed that it's been happening. Well, now the initial suit was filed in 2021 in federal court. Users said their private conversations were being recorded by their devices after Siri was unintentionally activated. Although a settlement was agreed upon, the company has denied the allegations. That's according to a legal notice obtained by USA Today. There is a hearing, by the way, tentatively scheduled for August to approve the settlement. So you have to stay tuned for more information on this. Of course, as I hear more about this, we'll pass it along to you. You got to love it. Someone's out doing their yard work early this morning. Let me know if that's overpowering everything and I can move inside. I don't really want to because it's absolutely beautiful today. Other news you can use. How many of you, first of all, tell me how many of you are still going to the movie theater? AMC theaters are saying that they're going to offer you 50% off tickets on Wednesdays this summer. I hope you do still go. I don't want theaters to go away. I hate seeing how many have closed down. So AMC's announced it's slashing the prices of adult movie tickets by 50% on Wednesday. This is going to start in July, by the way, July 9th. You must be a member of the AMC Stubs Rewards program to get the reduced price, though. The movie chain already offers discounts on Tuesdays for you Stubs members. The company's not said how long the promotion would run or if this is going to be a permanent change, but I'm going to think that if it goes well, that it would. And obviously, you know why. It's because so many people are not going to the movies anymore. A lot of these movies go straight to streaming, and that has killed people going to the theater. But Mission Impossible just came out, or is coming out, right? Is it coming out this weekend? I know there was a screening on Monday, so it's probably coming out this weekend. That's one I would love to see. And there's some movies that just call for going to the theater, right? And I think that is one of them. All right, in sports news, St. Louis against Sporting KC. Kickoff tonight, 7:45. Are you going to the game, by the way? Because it is in town. And then I mentioned the Cardinals. They had a game rained out yesterday, so they have a doubleheader versus the Phillies, and that is on tap for today. Cardinals are doing amazing, aren't they? I mean, I'm just really loving the turnaround. So the first game is at 12:05, and then the second game will start at 5:15. So we'll let you know about those games tomorrow. One thing I do want to add also in the news you can use, and you'll be happy about this, U.S. egg prices are falling for the first time in many, many months. U.S. retail egg prices fell from the record high prices that we had seen earlier in the year. The average price for a dozen grade A eggs declined to $5.12 last month after they reached a record in March of $6.23. I know some people were talking about paying $8 a dozen, and I will say for all of you that have chickens and roosters, it was a great opportunity for you, right? I saw businesses left and right that would be on the countertop, all of these eggs, and they're like, here we go, $8 and $9 a dozen, and people were paying it, by the way, right? And hey, keep it up if you can. Otherwise, it looks like you can go back to the store and they're not as expensive. National Day of Calendar. National Decency Day. All right, we should always be decent, shouldn't we? National Third Shift Workers Day. How many of you did that in life? I did that back in radio. National Buttermilk Biscuit Day. That would make my dad happy. National Underground America Day. It's also, who makes these up? National Dance Like a Chicken Day and National Receptionist Day. So honor those receptionists, or aren't they called administrative professionals now? Okay, so that's it for news you can use. Anything else you want to drop in? I'm going to look at comments here real quick. And then we're going to take our break. And when we come back, we're going to talk today about don't beat yourself up. How to be real, steps to go through that. And I want you all to be real. How many of you always do that? Okay, Julie says no makeup every day and that she does actually go out of the house. Now, I'm going to say I love makeup. I love fashion. I love hair styles. I love beautiful clothes. And so, yes, my mom always taught me that when you're going out, you never know who you're going to run into. It could be a future boss. When I wasn't married, it could be a future boyfriend, right? It was all these things or people you haven't seen in a long, long time. So always put your best self forward. Don't look disheveled, obviously. Look the best that you can. But, maybe put on a little mascara or just put a little bit on, but you don't have to doll it all up. Or you do, right? You show both sides of you. I mean, again, you do you. But I think the more that we can show multiple sides of us, the better it is. All right, everybody. You probably hear it in me. So now that I'm outside, it's starting to get to me. Good morning, Angie. All right, hold on. Julie, I leave house with no makeup. All right. Audra, good morning from Peru. Oh, I love when you take me on vacation. Traveling with University of Georgia fashion students. Oh my gosh, how cool is that? That is amazing. Again, don't ever leave us behind. So when you're on vacation, this is the beauty that we can come to you anywhere. Okay. Jenny says, yes, my kids call and text me all day. So what would they feel, Jenny, by the way, if this ban goes into, it's public schools again, but what would they feel if it went into effect? Good morning, Kathleen. All right. Jenny says, I only gave them a phone for school for safety originally, right? And then it all of a sudden changes. Rose, first morning without a headache since we shut the windows and turned the air on. Yeah, a lot of people have allergies, right? Today, I feel like I can attack any task. That girl. No makeup a lot. I give my face a breather, but when I hang out with friends or go out with couples, right, I'm all dialed up. Of course, I get that. Let's see. Anybody else? I feel like a clown. Julie says, I feel like a clown. Julie Purcell, I just can't find any makeup that doesn't break me out. So I gave up and just got used to wearing no makeup. Oh, okay. That screams for me and Sherry Anderson to do, and for our dermatologist, right? Okay. So Dr. Sarah, when she comes on next month, we need to talk about things to do for your skin so that doesn't happen. There's absolutely makeup out there that won't do that. So you do need to find the right makeup for your skin. So hey, we're going to get into that. Yeah. So sometimes people say, oh my gosh, they go off to Sephora or Ulta and they're like, oh my gosh, look at how expensive makeup is. Yeah. I spend a lot of money on the makeup that I used in TV. I don't have to use all of that anymore because we're not in front of all the crazy bright lights. I mean, there's still lights in our studio, but I don't spend the amount of money that I used to spend on that makeup. But I will tell you, and this is what we'll probably break down when I get with Sherry, and I don't know if Sherry's watching today or we can get this to Sherry and we'll tag Sherry in this. Sherry can do a segment for us, which we've done in the past, but we'll break down what should you spend your money on, the higher end, and what do you not have to, because you don't have to spend crazy money on every aspect of makeup. However, there are some that you should, and you also need to know what you should probably be reading labels, though, also in makeup, just like you do when you're reading labels at the grocery store. And we're going to do some future segments. If you're looking for this, future segments of us going through, Jenny's going to film me going through the grocery stores and how to eat healthier and what to be looking at and what not to be taking home to you and to your kids. Rose says, let's do another makeup hour. Sorry, men, but that was fun. It was a blast, wasn't it? And I know a lot of women are saying, every decade, how should we be changing, right? So from your 30s to your 40s, does your makeup look different? From your 40s to your 50s and so on? Yes, it should. And someone said, hey, I'd love to see the change in makeup as women mature. So I asked Sherry about doing that. We need to talk makeup with our guest soon. Yes, I'm sure they would hate it. That generation doesn't know how to function without phones. Okay, that's what Jenny's saying with regards to the phones. Okay, 7:19. Feel free to continue to weigh in on anything I've already talked about. We're going to take our break. We'll be right back, and then we're going to get into not beating yourself up and being more real.
Carroll House Furniture Homes look the best because of our free design service. Our designers please your taste.
Let's reimagine your room with 50 brand name choices.
We'll create a 3D design with a 360 view for your room.
Free design services are just the beginning. Free 0% financing, fast free delivery and setup, and the guaranteed lowest prices in the country with no stipulations.
You'll get a perfect custom floor plan for your new dream room.
Carroll House Design, because you like nice things.
Hello, everyone. Joe Thomaser with Weingarten Vineyard here. Just had a great day at the set of The Real Monica Adams Show. I think the biggest takeaway and the biggest word for the day for me is passion. You can see with her craft of how passionate that she is to provide a different view from what she had done in her past career, now in a new career. She made today so easy, and it was easy for me as well, because we share that passion for what we do. When it's doing interviews on set, giving a different view on life, essentially, and different experiences for you guys. Today could not have gone better. I most definitely encourage you guys to continue to tune in to her shows, and maybe you'll see me back again. You will see me back again. Sorry, Monica.
All right, we just visited with Joe yesterday. Joe Thomaser, can't wait to meet his mom, Sharon, and meet his aunt as well. And his aunt, by the way, has been a fan for a while, and she keeps sending messages or calling Joe and saying, Joe, you showed up on the show again. Yes, well, he's going to be on the show. We're going to sit down on Saturday. This Saturday, what are you doing? I really hope to see as many of you as possible. We're going to do our live show from Weingarten Vineyard. So tell your family and friends. It is a gorgeous drive. You get on 55, Highway 032. And then go to Weingarten Vineyard, and it is stunningly beautiful. And they're doing so much work, by the way, to bring in brides' quarters, grooms' quarters for weddings, for the ability of 10 bridesmaids, 10 groomsmen. The upper area of Weingarten Vineyard's just gorgeous. The property itself is absolutely stunning, and what they've been able to do for it, just like hills. The view is beautiful. You see all the hills. You see the vineyards that were there before the Thomaser family took over. And then as well, this beautiful lake that's on the adjacent property. Just that view alone on Saturday with weather that's going to be in the probably mid to upper 70s, the most perfect weather. So we would love to see you. I'm not sure if what your plans are, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, but I'd love to see you. So again, our broadcast will be at noon. You'll be able to meet Jenny, her husband, Andy will be out there. My husband will be out there. And then Zach will be directing for us. We'd love to see you again as at many of our mobile Monicas that are coming up. And I'll run through some of the other ones a little bit later on in the hour. Well, welcome back. If you are just tuning in, it's the Real Monica Adams Show. I am your host, and I'm thrilled to have you along each and every day. Keep sharing with your family and friends that we're on for you day in and day out. Tomorrow, by the way, we'll be with Jessica Cook. We have our positive talk time. I know that's very popular for a lot of you that are animal lovers. I'm still waiting to hear back from Jessica to see if she wants to show you how to do different treats that you can make. Okay, look, I told you earlier that I had an audience. Now I have a turtle. I'm sorry. I don't need coffee. You can see why I don't need caffeine, guys. I am easily amused. There is a turtle that is just staring at me on my driveway. And I've got again, it's the beauty of getting out in nature. You miss all these things when you are stuck inside of your house. I just wish we had a camera so I could show you all of this. It's just the easiest. The fun things in life that happen. I know you're all at home going, oh my gosh, she's so easily amused. All right. Yeah, it is. And so I'm not going to beat myself up, right? Don't beat yourself up. That is the theme of the day. So I want you to think about this for a second. Here are some things to help you with not doing that. Okay. Self-compassion building exercise. So I want you to think of something that is causing you pain and suffering. So stop with that for a second. And this is how we life coach, right? So you're going to get some free life coaching as a community today. And we'd like to do more and more of this. We're actually talking about doing some subscriber things where you would join me maybe on a Friday, or we'd pick a good day where everybody comes on. You'll be on like a Zoom screen from all over the world. Everybody can get together and help each other, but you'll actually be able to talk with me as opposed to, typing things in. And anybody that was on my prior Thursday night life coaching classes, you get that as soon as someone says something and is real about it, it gets everybody else talking. So I want you to think of something that's causing you pain and suffering, whether it's right now, whether it was in the past. Say the following while you're in a self-compassionate posture. And what does that look like? Your hand over your heart. This is a moment of suffering. Right? It is not going to last. This too shall pass. You hear all of those things. So again, hand over heart, sit up straight, breathe, because when anxiety takes over, your breathing is all in your chest. We're trying to get it into the diaphragm. It's a moment of suffering. Suffering is a part of life. May I be kind to myself in this moment. I love this from Dr. Kristen Neff, social work career that Dr. Neff has done. So go back through that again, and let's just recap that. It's a moment. You're thinking of the suffering and the pain that you are going through. Maybe it just happened this morning. Maybe you got a horrible phone call, or maybe it's coming. And so this is where we get prepared for it. When life seems to just be insurmountable, when every aspect of life just feels like, people talk about the black cloud. I've heard this from a lot of clients. But Monica, I swear, some people are just gifted. Some people they're always in a great mood. And then here I am over here and I got this black cloud over me. And then I always ask that question. Well, do you think it's going to last day after day after day? And so when they are in a depressed anxiety state and they have toxicity and drama all around them, chaos all around them, their answer is yes, I do feel like it is always going to be there. And then I have to walk them through it. I have to walk you through it to say, this is a moment of suffering. This will pass, but you've got to do the work. We've got to put in the work so that it can get better. So you can't just sit in the pain and never talk about it. That's the whole aspect of why we talk about the importance of communication. You've got to talk about it. You have to find someone that you trust. Maybe you have to go to a counselor. Maybe you hire a life coach. And yes, if you go to our page, TheRealMonicaAdams.com, you can see the services. I do life coaching. I've done it for 2 decades. I feel extremely blessed every day I wake up and do my prayer. I say how blessed I feel that God allows me to be a helper, that I'm a healer. That is my job. That's one of my jobs. And I don't take that lightly, that I am able to help, heal, guide, teach, educate, whatever the level is of what we're doing, whatever part of our brand, right? If someone's coming to me for personal training, it's educating them on proper ways to eat, proper ways to hydrate, proper ways of form for their training. So they're not injuring themselves, right? I'm talking about any kind of suffering and pain. I don't want you to be in pain because you've done something wrong in your workouts and suddenly you're out of the game, right? You think of an athlete out of the game for however long, out of life, feeling like you're off kilter. So this suffering aspect of life is a moment, and hopefully it's a short moment of life and the pain that you are in. Okay, the more real someone can be, and any questions about what I'm saying right now can help others. And this is kind of like yesterday when everybody felt that they could be real and raw and not have this community attack. Now, I've been keeping an eye on yesterday's comments, by the way, and I haven't seen too much bullying or too much negativity. So I really do think that this unbelievable community that we have built is very protective of each other. And so if somebody were, that they would hop in, they wouldn't let the negativity continue. And so, by the way, isn't that a really good adage of life? Think about that. So if you surround yourself with friends or family members, and I know that sometimes you don't choose to be around certain people in family or friends, but maybe they're going to be at a function, you probably go into a protective mode of yourself. I hope that you protect yourself. But then it's also, does that person that creates the chaos attack others that you love? Do you also go into the mode that I do, which is, whoa, 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 I'm going to be very aware of the situation. I'm going to listen, and I'm going to go over and protect. Go ahead, steal them away from the conversation because they probably don't want to be in it. So take them away from it and help them, right? And then leave that toxicity in a circle of one. And eventually, I believe, this is my eternal hope, that person will then, that negative, toxic, drama-filled person will start to wonder, over here, this circle of life where everybody seems happier, and it is light, and it's not the darkness, that they're going to want to start to come over here, that they're going to seek this out so bad, this is what they want more of. Don't you believe that? I do. Again, that's the eternal optimist in me. That's the positive side of me, that I really do think that the less there are people in this circle, and the more this grows, the more that they are questioning, what am I doing wrong to stay over here in isolation, in silence eventually. And they're going to be screaming and trying to get your attention. But again, I've said this to a lot of clients. When you don't give them power, then they sit there and they're talking to themselves. They're hate-filled themselves. They don't have any power if you don't give it to them. So that's really what you want to get to. How do we get you to that? It is a process, as you see in the description for today. I know that this pain and suffering that you have right now feels like it is going to last for an eternity. But it's not as long as you actually take the steps. What do the steps look like? What do you have to do in order to get there? Well, let's run through some of these. Here's some ways to stop beating yourself up. Okay, let's run through and sit with some of them. Don't be afraid of failure. Okay, let's go to that one alone. How many times have we talked about how failure is actually a good thing? That you have to learn. Not everything in life is going to be that you win, win, win. In fact, kids have to be taught you're not always going to win the game. You're not always going to be the best at everything. Sometimes maybe you are. And doesn't it feel great? Yes, but you have to learn. And you, as parents, you have to teach your kids to know the highs of highs and the lows of lows so that they don't get cocky and think that they're always going to be up here. Because when they get knocked down, they have to learn how to deal with it. So don't be afraid of failure. In fact, we've done an entire show in the past of what happens when you learn how to fail and then you come out of it. So let's use working out. And let's go years ago where we used to talk about, come on, do that next rep to failure. And so to a person who's coming into that conversation that has never understood that mentality, they hear the word failure and go, why would that trainer be asking that person to go through failure? That's rude. No, failure means to literally give it your all. And I mean this. So I'll ask my clients on a scale of 1 to 10, what did that feel like? And I'll hear some of them say 10. And I'm like, no way. I'm calling BS on this. There's no way that was a 10. Because if it was a 10, you would be all out sheer exhaustion. All of you that work out, you understand what failure feels like. It is giving it your all to where, let's act like a bicep rep. Okay, right? I'm coming up and I literally, my biceps are shaking so much that all of a sudden I have to drop the weight. That's true failure. That's true exhaustion, getting there. Think about the athlete that's running a marathon and is running on blistered feet, ulcerated heels. They are giving it their all and they pass out right as they get across the line. That is exhaustion. True failure, but guess what's on the other end of it? Exhilaration. I finished, an accomplishment. So when you go through failure, you then realize I can overcome this. And as I said, this too shall pass. But the greatest thing is, how do we come out of failure? So what do we learn from it? We learn that we can overcome. Anything you want to add to this, please feel free to drop in. So you can listen to these, and I actually would love, I can't see all of you at home. This is why we want to do some live audience shows and get back into live life coaching so that I can see you writing down that you get that aha moment of, holy cow, that's me. Yes, I'm going through that. Or maybe you're in a great place, but you can help a friend. Or you can help your children that are suffering, whatever they're going through. They're being bullied, or again, they're not. How do their little minds deal with not getting the role they wanted in a play, or not getting the lead chair in music, or not being given the award in, I don't even know if they do science fairs anymore, whatever it may be, right? Liken it to your aspect of life. They're going through and they don't get on the varsity team, right? We're getting ready to go into summertime and maybe they can refuel their minds and souls to get ready for next year that's coming up. This is really where the work is done. Yes, we want them to have fun summertime, but at the same time, I want some work to be done. And a lot of times the summertime helps with healing aspects. Okay, so this part of the year, as it wrapped up, didn't go really well for you. Well, let's get into next year. Or if they just graduated, all right, we got to wake up and now it's time for real life, right? Now we are an adult. And what are you going to do when you have failure come into your life and now you're not with mom and dad anymore? All these lessons in life that happen. We go back to another one before we take another break. Practice self-compassion and acceptance. Ooh, that word, acceptance. We actually talked about that word earlier in the week. Acceptance. That's a big one. Accepting what is, accepting what was, and accepting what is right around the corner, whether good or bad. It's acceptance of it. But it's also the hard aspects of what we've gone through in life, accepting it and learning how to move on. Okay, so today is about being real, being raw. Don't tell me you haven't been here. If you are more real and honest with this, and if you want to give an example of life, I love the fact you're all listening, but I love interaction. So if you just say, you know what, Monica, I applied some of these to my life, and this is how I came out better. So how about, can any of you answer that question for me, or that comment for me? You know what, Monica, I've been through this. And when I applied this is how I came out better. So that's what we do in life coaching. And like I said, it's much easier when it is me with all of you on the screen and I get to hear from you, or somebody raises their hand and we talk together. Why do you think communities love to feed off of one another? Because again, you get that energy of life, of not feeling like you're alone in this. So if you are just tuning in, we're in the second half of the show. And we're talking about this. Don't beat yourself up. Understand that you are just like everyone else. But if you're willing to be real and say what you're going through, all you're going to do is help others that are watching. You know, my whole aspect of let them watch, that whole theory that we started a couple years ago. Hashtag let them watch. If you are out there and just stripping it all down, like I said, I'm doing today, no makeup on, I'm just being real. If you can do that and others watch you do it, then they feel like they have permission. Everybody seems to be wanting permission. Whenever I do the coaching aspect, it's like, are you waiting for someone to say that you've chosen the right word? When I ask them, what's your word of the day? And they're like, I don't know. Yes, you do. Just say it. Oh, they look around. And everybody's asking, like, am I going to be judged? No, just say it and watch what happens. You've got this community that's waiting to stand up and applaud you for saying whatever it is on your mind. And if they're not your people. That's the greatest thing that you can learn. We've got so much to run through in the next 20 minutes. Love to hear from you. Again, shout it out. A lot of times I go through these life coaching days and it's like you just absorb, and that's okay. But the more one person steps up and says, this is my story and this is where I was, because people like to see the before and after. It's not that they don't want to say, I'm the one suffering that Monica's talking about, but I feel like I'm going to stay here. They want to hear or read that, yes, this was you. Maybe it was a year ago. Maybe it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Maybe it's right now, but that at the end of the week and into next week, you suddenly go, hey, remember that show? Guess what? I started implementing these things. Or maybe you're a past life coaching client of mine. And maybe you can't add it in right now. Maybe you can't watch live. Maybe you watch this later. Drop the comments in, though, because the greatest thing that people can see is the before and after. And speaking of that, by the way, we'll talk about a fashion before and after that we have coming up at the end of the month.
My house is so outdated and old. Can you help?
Let's take down this wall and add a support beam there.
Or just replace the furniture.
I love it.
New sofa, chaise lounge, and tables from Carol House.
What about this bedroom?
Let's tear down this wall.
Or a new bed, dresser, and accessories.
It's like a whole new room.
Get free in-home design, fast free delivery, and free financing too. Skip the remodel. Add new furnishings from Carol House for your new perfect room. Because you like nice things.
Discover your full potential with a personalized styling experience. Designing, customizing, and transforming the looks of men and women. Revamp your individual style and embrace what makes you, you. That's real confidence.
All right, well, welcome back. It is 7:40, again on a Wednesday. Beautiful day to get outside, as I mentioned. We do have some chances of rain if you missed the forecast going into the next couple of days, but Saturday looks amazing. We're talking about Mobile Monicas coming up, and a lot of times I save these to the end of the show, but let's run through them right now. So the next one is on May 17th, this coming Saturday. Would love to see you at noon at Weingarten Vineyard. If you absolutely cannot be at that one, our next one coming up will be at Osiris Med Spa, and I can't wait to sit down with Dr. Shadi Hawatma. We are going to talk about weight loss, and we're going to debunk some myths that are out there. In fact, we're also going to tell you the importance if you are a diabetic, if you are obese, morbidly obese, and you've been trying everything that you can. This is not, by the way, for the people who are saying, I want to lose 5-10 pounds. Dr. Hawatma has stressed that is not what he's going to do. In fact, I'm going to show you on the screen. This is the man we're going to be talking to on the left there, Dr. Hawatma, and then his wife there in the middle. They've got an incredible staff. Our mobile Mobile Monica is next week on May 21st, 8 o'clock in the morning. OsirisMedicalSpa.com is where you can go. They've got a ton of services that they can do there, including, you remember the reel that I put out, this Aveda Head Spa, which if you're looking for just true relaxation and for your hair to just look amazing and just glow and glisten for days and days to come, yeah, they do that as well. So many different things, but it's his intellect, it's his care and compassion that I can't wait for you all to see. So that is coming up next week, and then the following week, and we do have room, by the way, for a couple more ladies. We've got 3 lined up. I know Jenny had posted. I'm going to post again. I talked to the ladies of the vault and said, do you have any customers that might want to be a part of this? So it's very simple. You just come to them about a week or so before, and we get the ladies all lined up to be a before and after model. And so you come in and you show your real self, by the way. It's what we're talking about today. Shop.thevaultluxuryresale.com. They have the most beautiful things there from a fashion standpoint. So I know that we have had ladies in the past that have been a part of it. Some ladies say, oh, I'd love to do it again. Well, I'm not opposed to it, but I always want to give the opportunity for somebody new to do it. So if, in fact, you would like to be a part of the one on May 28th, that's on a Wednesday in the morning, then I'd love to hear from you. Shoot me an email, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com, and spread that to your family and friends. Again, topics or guests that you would like on the show. You want to become a sponsor. You want us to do a Mobile Monica from your business, from your festival event. Reach out to us. There's a lot of really fun things coming for the summer. In fact, we're almost booked for June with Mobile Monicas. We already have one on the books for July. And I do reward you, by the way, as a community, if you know somebody and they book a Mobile Monica or they become a regular sponsor, I'm going to give you $150 cold hard cash, which comes in handy, doesn't it? By the way, I want you to do just this. Share, like, follow the live stream Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Send it all to your family and friends. And again, if they are not a fan of being on social media, that is the reason we're on a ton of platforms, and we just keep growing those platforms. So for those that don't want to be on Facebook or Instagram, etc., that is one of the biggest reasons why we got onto YouTube. So again, let them know that we're a part of your family, and we can be day in and day out. So again, thanks for tuning in this morning. Love seeing some new faces, and then I love all of our diehards that call themselves Monica's Maniacs. All right, Katie said, I highly recommend Monica's life coaching services. Love her. I've known her for many years. Her coaching method and expertise will help you transform all aspects of your life. So grateful to have her as a coach. Katie, I love you. Thank you so very much. I greatly appreciate that. So yeah, I would love to help you if it's a private thing. And sometimes this is what I'm saying. As we're talking about this morning, some people say, Monica, I wanted so bad. And what I end up doing is I end up getting a lot of emails afterwards. I would love for you to just be willing to let go. And we're going to go back to that slide before we wrap up and give you some other things that you can do to help you through your personal struggles, through your professional struggles, because I do business coaching, life coaching, love coaching, you name it, whatever helps you become the best version of you. So Rose said, Monica, have you always felt comfortable in front of an audience, like on a stage facing people? I can walk into a room of hundreds of people and talk and meet them, but not standing up on a podium. Why? Because you feel like you're going to be judged. That is usually what I feel. So there's a great reason why public speaking was so important. And I don't know if they still offer that in high school or if they do it. I think they should do it even earlier in life, because we think about how shy a lot of kids are in junior high, grade school, right? And then they get into high school. And then also think about that, right? So you're an 8th grader and you're on top. We just talked about being on top and learning how to fail, learning how to deal with that. So you're an 8th grader, then suddenly you're a freshman. And then sophomore, junior, senior, then life, right? I'm a young adult. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to handle life. It's this constant up and down pattern of life. How do we deal with all that? The other aspect is public speaking. Again, if it's offered, I hope it still is, how it teaches, because again, there's kids that are scared to death. You know, they're going through awkward stages. Their hormones are all over the place, and they learn how to get up there. Hopefully the bullying doesn't happen, and hopefully all the cattiness that we used to see in schools is not there. If it is, they had to learn early on how to have thick skin. That's a difficult thing because people feel like they're judged. Rose, normally it is all eyes are on you. What am I going to do? Am I going to say the wrong thing? Do these people even want to hear what I have to say? A lot of it is belief in yourself. So a couple things, Rose. It is, and I'm going to answer the question about have I always felt comfortable and alive in front of an audience? I'll get to that in just a second. But see, I always like to put you first, even though I say to put ourselves first. In this particular respect, I'm putting your questions for yourself first. You can do it. But the very first thing is you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that your story that you're getting ready to tell that audience is something that they're going to have great takeaways. They're going to have an aha moment. You're going to move them to an emotion that maybe they're going to laugh with you. Maybe they're going to cry with you. Maybe they're going to get so frustrated at the way their life was and get inspired by you. You have to step up on that stage and know that you're going to command that audience and that every one of them is going to listen. But then here's the key you have to understand. They're not all going to. You have to believe they are, and then you'll start to see the breakdown of some of them will get tired. Their attention is short-lived. That's okay. Those aren't your people. It's the ones that are locked eyes with you, writing things down. Again, like I said, moving through emotion, sheer laughter, crying. And it happens, Rose. It's your story, and you have to believe in your story enough, or believe in your education, believe in your passion, intellect, emotion, whatever it is that you are chosen to be up on that stage and up on that podium to speak to an audience of 10 to thousands. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's an audience of one. If a person is willing to listen to you and get something out of this, then it matters. Now, to go to your other question, have I always felt comfortable in front of an audience? No. And so my mom always believes this, and I think this is funny to give you. When I was in high school, I was in choir. I also was in band. And so a lot of it is, I think kids are a little bit better at this than adults, but the more we introduce ourselves to different aspects of life, the more well-rounded we are, right? So I think back how I have to thank my mother and my father for allowing me to get into so many different things to find Monica, find myself. So I was in dance and gymnastics when I was younger. I would have loved to have stayed that route because I love to dance. And who knows what would have happened with my life if I had stayed dancing. Instead, I went the route of sports. But sports allowed me to do what? Learn failure, learn success, learn camaraderie, learn teamwork. I love so many levels of what sports do for us. So I played soccer, softball, basketball, excelled in soccer, played in college, did all these things, learned to find my voice a little bit more, learned to get a little bit more comfortable. My mom swears, though, Rose and everybody else, that the way I came out of my shell, because I was always kind of a ham, but it was a smaller audience, right? You think more of that as being an introvert, like you find your voice in a smaller group. Now it's this bigger than life type A personality that I have. How did I find that? Mom says karaoke. That I swear. Karaoke at Cattleman Steakhouse in Florissant, Missouri, very first place that ever had karaoke. I'm going back to high school. And the fact that that has lasted all these years, I love it. I haven't been to karaoke in a long time, but you know what? That's what we need to do. Jenny, let's work on that. We need a Monica's Maniacs night out doing karaoke. How much fun would that be? That's a mobile Monica. That's got to happen. Let's do that sometime in June or July, and maybe we even do it outside. I don't know if anybody's doing karaoke outside, like on a patio. That would be a blast. I would love that. So Mom swears, Rose, that is the day, and then weeks and years to come, that I found myself, that I was okay to sing, speak, shout to the world and not feel judged. And even if somebody wanted to judge, I didn't care because I knew I was working on my craft, working on my singing, working on my dancing, working on speaking, working on becoming Monica. So for me, that's where it all came from, by the way. Isn't that funny? Karaoke made me. Imagine then, so Rose, I know people say that. Imagining them in underwear doesn't work. Yeah, you can. You can do that. You'll laugh and they'll wonder, why are you laughing? Oh, you're laughing because you think we're all in underwear or naked. No, that's not a good sign. Underwear. Okay. Put them all in underwear. And yes, it might help you a little bit more. So yeah, good question, by the way, Rose. Thank you for that. All right. If you are just tuning in, we've got about 10 minutes left. We ran through these mobile Monicas we have coming up. Again, 17th, this Saturday. Come on, Weingarten Vineyards. Would love, grab your family, grab your friends, girlfriend day out, couples day out. Would love to see you. Osiris Med Spa next Wednesday, Osiris Med Spa. Tune into that. Myself and Dr. Hawatma will be sitting down. That will not be a 7 a.m. show that day, by the way. Excuse me, that will be done at 8 o'clock that morning. So we're going to come on a little bit later that day for you. And then the following week, again, it is our before and after makeover show with the vault. Cannot wait for that one. And then at the end of the month, how many of you are coming out to be involved in Brian McKenna Day? Join us in the celebration of the life of an incredible human being taken way too early. Your vibe attracts your tribe, and we're all going to be out there. Macklin shut down from Devonshire to Nottingham, starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, going until 7. Again, food and drinks to be bought there. Please don't bring coolers in. Great music. If you have any questions or you want to make a donation, I made my donation. I became a green flag sponsor. That's $250. So all the colors of his Irish heritage. You can email brianmckennaday@gmail.com. So that's all coming up for the rest of May. And then in June, we're going to go behind the scenes with Jennifer Bonacorsi, with Jay Bloom. We also have Exit 11 Coffee on tap. How many of you have been to an Exit 11 Coffee? There are multiple locations. We're going to sit down with the owner and see her new location in Eureka. And then we have what we've been talking about for a while now. We had Richard Melching on earlier in the week. All right, so this is the one I want you to come to. This is in June 21st. June 21st, 12 o'clock, 5301 Kaskaskia Road, Waterloo, Illinois. $10 per poker hand. All vehicles are welcome. That's the biggest thing we want to stress, not just motorcycles. We get it, right? We get mental health, and we get the importance of being there for each other. So June 21st, mark it on your calendar. Can't wait to be a part of that. We've got some t-shirts where it says The Real Monica Adams supports Dudes Playground. And if you've got $350 that you can gift to our veterans, our disabled veterans, then your name of your family or your logo of your business can be on the back of the shirt that says your business supports Dudes Playground. So a lot of really cool things coming up for you that we are excited for. And then another makeover show with NCJW, which is on Lindbergh, right there where you come out of Frontenac, go into Creve Coeur, right next to Joseph A. Banks. Can't wait to sit down with the ladies. We're going to hear their story a couple weeks before we do the before and after. And this before and after, by the way, folks, is with men and women. So come on, I want to get couples. How many of you are willing to come on out and again, just be real, be the way you are, dress the way you normally are, and then let the ladies put you in some of the clothes that they have. Some really awesome clothes there at their resale shop, NCJW. So we'll talk all about that. That's coming up, by the way, on July 18th. So models needed for that one as well. So see, some cool things to come and even more. Again, shoot me an email. Let us know where you would like for us to do a mobile Monica that you want to come out with. So before we wrap up, we're talking about stop beating yourself up. And we were going through some of these. We were on number 2. So we went through, again, don't be afraid of failure. Practice your self-compassion and your acceptance. And then we're going to run through the rest of these before we get into our devotion. Focus on healing your inner child. A lot of you have probably heard that I've talked in the past about how I do timeline therapy, and we go back to where some of the bullying or the abuse happened. And it is a lot of times it happened when you were a child. So we have to go back to that again, touch back in the past, and then heal from it to be able to move forward. But think about your inner child. Now, anybody who knows me knows I'm a big goofball. Now, if they watch me in news and they used to say, oh, I know Monica, and then someone who really, really knows Monica, they would go, oh, yeah, talking about the news side of me or the very serious side of what I would do. That was an extension of me. That's not me. I am so playful and so full of life, and I have no problem embracing my inner child. But how about all of you? This is where the acceptance comes in. This is where the real aspect comes in. Do you only show one side of you, or are you willing to show every layer? I'm going to tell you right now, it is a beautiful place to get to when you are able to show every layer to everyone, not just a small group of people, but everyone. And if they judge you or they make fun of you, who cares? I want to get you to that point to be able to say, who cares? If they don't like the way you're acting, they don't think that you fit their mold of who they think you should be, well, guess what? The more you become the person you want to be, and then you find your people, like that whole aspect of your vibe attracts your tribe, boy, it's such a fun place to be. So go ahead, find that inner child. Focus on healing, though, the child that has had trauma, has had pain. Heal that and then show the playful side. So that's how I take it back and forth. The juggle of life of focus in on healing the inner child and then let the child out, the playful child. Okay, we talk about this a lot. Practice meditation, the aspect of learning how to breathe. How many of you have taken that cue and started meditation? That's important. I'll give homework to my clients from a personal training standpoint. And I'm like, if you don't do it, I don't know how you expect to ever get better. If you are so filled with anxiety and your suffering and your pain and your trauma, and you continue to repeat the pattern day in and day out, and you don't pray, meditate, whatever, calmness, well, you're not going to get better. You've got to start these practices. Use thought-stopping techniques. Reframe. This is a big one. Reframe your negative thoughts. Again, you have the choice. So you want to get better? Focus on positivity. You want to get better? Get away from the people who are drama filled. You want to get better? You want to be healthier? Get away from the people who are obese, morbidly obese. Live that lifestyle, because you become the sum of the 3 to 5 people you hang around on a regular basis. So look around you. Do they all practice unhealthy habits? Do they eat horrible? Do they constantly berate others? Are they bullies? You become that. It's true. It's scientific. Be mindful. Ooh, be ever so present. And I put this in the description. Give yourself some grace. Accept your imperfections and your flaws. That's what I was talking about today, right? No makeup. Flaws. Take it off. Strip it down. Forgive yourself. Oh, that's a big one. We got to do a whole new show on that again. I did that a long time ago. Forgive yourself. And by the way, the biggest, take responsibility for past mistakes. And I'm going to add something on there. Say, I'm sorry. Learn to say you're sorry. Okay, be big enough to say you're sorry. That's so huge, and it goes a long way. I hope you learned something from this. You may not have been as interactive, because today maybe would have been your day that you needed to listen more, and that's okay. To absorb more, to be a sponge. Feel free to reach out to me if you felt like you couldn't talk to the community today, you couldn't write to the community today. That's okay. It's okay, but I just hope that you learn. I hope that as my team comes on and helps you with different aspects of life, that you start implementing them. That's how you get better. Okay, so it is May 14th, and we're going to read from Jesus Calling. I am a mighty God. Nothing's too difficult for me. I've chosen to use weak ones like you to accomplish my purposes. Your weakness is designed to open you up to my power. Therefore, do not fear your limitations or measure the day's demands against your strength. What I require of you is to stay connected to me, living in trusting dependence on my limitless resources. And when you face unexpected demands, there's no need to panic. Remember that I am with you. Talk with me. Listen while I talk you through each challenging situation. I'm not a careless God. When I allow difficulties to come into your life, I equip you fully to handle them. Relax in my presence, trusting in my strength. And again, these books are just amazing. And I want to thank Marilyn, one of our diehards. Marilyn gave us the Jesus Calling and Jesus Listens books a while back, and that's what we read from. Sally said, I love it all, and past mistakes will allow us to grow. Without my mistakes, I would not be where I am today. I love you as well, my friend. Rose, great show, she says. You're welcome. Stephanie, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. And again, you don't always have to speak. There are days where the most important and the greatest growing comes from silence, comes from meditation, comes from prayer, thoughtfulness, and give yourself some grace. All right, tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, we will be at Yuppie Puppy Pet Spa, Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue. We'll find out if they have any new babies that they've taken in. I did see that Dumpling got adopted. That was that beautiful Shiba Inu I'm so excited about. Jenny, of course, is probably wondering if Swiss has been adopted yet. We will find out. So if you have ever wanted to know about natural treats, what can you be making for your babies at home? We are going to do that tomorrow. And then we're going to talk about some other aspects. We'll get ready for the big gala coming up in the fall. And, you know, there are so many levels of things that you can do as a community to help out Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue. The greatest thing is open up your home if it's that time, when it's that time. And maybe it's not right now, but when it is, be sure to support those that support us. And we constantly are supporting Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue. We love them so much. And let me give a final thank you to all of our sponsors that make this show happen. And that is Carroll House Furniture, Regional Dermatology, and Dr. Sarah Jensen will be back on with us coming up in June. Yuppie Puppy Pet Spa, Defiance Ridge Vineyards. I'll be there tonight. It's a Wet Your Whistle Wednesday. And by the way, you don't always have to just watch at home. Come out and join us. It's a beautiful day to be at a winery. So if you want to come for a late lunch or an early dinner, we're going to be there at 4 o'clock this afternoon, sitting down with Chuck Gillentine and enjoying the beautiful afternoon. So we'd love to see you. And then, of course, Dot Fleshman, real estate extraordinaire. Those are our current sponsors, and your name could be among those amazing businesses. So if you would like to be a part of the show and align your brand with our brand, just reach out to me. Again, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. I would love to bring the positivity and align our brands together. Love you all so much. Thank you again for being a part of the show. I'll see you this afternoon, hopefully at 4 o'clock, either in person or watch the show. Tomorrow, Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue. And then don't forget, tomorrow, big show, 4 o'clock, Babs and myself. For all of you that know Brian McKenna and you know Babs, this is going to be a really powerful show. Look on all my platforms. That's where it's going to be. And spread the word to all of your family and friends that knew Brian and are waiting to see Babs in a really great healing state. So we're going to sit down 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So we've got 2 shows today, 2 shows tomorrow. And then we get into Friday and we get into the weekend and then we get into our big event on Saturday at Weingarten Vineyard. So it's going to be a great one. Thank you all so much. Love you dearly. And remember, be kind.